Alright, this is Katie. I'm going to try to finally do a video about Alice's first week of life when she was in the NICU. It's taken me so long. I actually did record a video that was like a half an hour long shortly after we came home, and I think I have such complex emotions surrounding this whole experience that I really needed more time to kind of work through things to be able to share it, I guess. I'm going to be as brief as possible, and then if I leave things out and you have specific questions, just let me know, and maybe I'll do a video follow-up answering, filling in the blanks if need be. But where I am now, so Alice is 4.5 months old, and I still feel a lot of anger and grief about just how her first week was. It was so different from what I wanted, what we planned for, what we expected, and I really do feel sort of cheated in a way that we couldn't have that private, intimate bonding experience together. But of course I feel so much gratitude for everybody who helped us along the way, and just absolutely so much just that Alice is healthy now. And, that was a really, really tough week, but things have been normal since then, and I know that a lot of people have much worse experiences than we did. So I am grateful for where we are now. I think I'm probably always going to have a hard time making sense of sort of where things went wrong and wondering if things could have been done differently. I believe in my heart that there really isn't anything that we could have prevented or changed, but I think I will always have those questions, especially because we still have, a lot of things that are unanswered and will always be unanswered. But I do want to share some lessons that we learned, for God forbid if anybody out there finds himself in this kind of situation. I think what made it so hard for us is that we were completely blindsided. We were in no way prepared for for anything going wrong with the baby. We had prepared for, things going wrong possibly in my labor, but there was just nothing that had indicated we had a reason to worry, and I guess it was just the, naivete of first-time parents. I had had a healthy pregnancy. I had very few interventions in my labor. It was long, especially the pushing phase was 6 hours, but Alice didn't show any signs of distress that whole time in monitoring her heart rate, and we just really had no reason to believe that anything was wrong. When she was born, she had great APGAR scores. She had 9s at both 1 minute and 5 minutes. I think that's the interval they do. The only thing wrong in those assessments were that her hands and feet were blue, and so that showed circulation issues or low body temperature. In her case, it was low body temperature. And that just seemed minor to us. We just didn't know. We did make the mistake ahead of time of not asking the questions about, what if something goes wrong with the baby. When we went for our hospital tour, we saw all of the normal facilities, the normal, labor and delivery and recovery rooms, and we were explained the way the process goes for 90–95% of families. But we didn't ask the questions, and they weren't offered. Where are the special care nurseries located? What happens? What's the process if something goes wrong? Who do you talk to? Sort of who's in charge? When is that person going to be communicating with us? We just didn't know to ask those things, and we didn't. So that's something I would definitely advise people to sort of plan for, at least have the conversation ahead of time. How things went down for us was that I had a normal vaginal delivery with a midwife. Alice was born, and we spent the first 30 minutes together, like I said. We did skin to skin. Both my mom and Mike's mom got to come in and meet the baby. We both got to hold her, and then there was this hospital policy that we came up against that we really tried hard to work around, but there just wasn't a way to do it, which was that all babies, regardless, go to the sort of regular healthy baby nursery for observation for about 30 minutes, which is where they do the official weight and fingerprinting and any initial testing and just a little bit of observation. During that time, the mother is transferred to the postpartum unit, and then baby comes to meet the mom in about 30 minutes. For us, there was a significant delay, and really we just, again, we didn't know what we should have expected. I sort of gave everyone the benefit of the doubt. I kept asking every staff person I came in contact with, you know, like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where is she? When is she coming here? Can we go see her? And there was a shift change going on right as I was making that transfer, so I sort of chalked the delay up to that. Somewhere along the way, somebody was dropping the ball, and I still don't know really who that was, but finally we were told that she was being held in the regular observation nursery for longer because her body temperature was still low, and that could be a sign of, you know, possible infection, but really didn't seem like anything to be alarmed about. It wasn't described as being a possible real problem. We were shown to the nursery, and we were able to go there right away. Immediately we did skin to skin again. I nursed her and just spent some more time together. Then we were told that there was a doctor coming to see me, so we needed to go back to my room, so we did that. Again, we were asking, you know, when is Alice going to come? When are we going to be rooming in? When is she coming here? I'd always dreamed about those early moments of just uninterrupted time together. So we visited her in the regular nursery another time, and again asked the nurses there what was going on and when she was going to be coming out. And then again, something else called us away from the nursery. I had to go back to my room for some sort of assessment or something. And the next thing that happened was that a resident came to my room and very badly, very sort of insensitively and poorly explained what was going on, that Alice's temperature was still low and that was a sign of a possible infection, and that for that reason that she was going to need more observation in the NICU, and that she was going to be transferred, and we had to sign a paper to make that happen. They had talked to our pediatrician, and he had advised for that to happen as soon as possible, and so we went with his expertise. I do think that it was exactly the right decision, but like I said, it was just the process by which things were explained to us. It should have gone differently. Things should have been explained better. We should have been notified earlier. I'm still pretty upset about that. Mike and I both at this point were just like, what the hell? Like, and the feeling I'm left with now is just that it was unfair that we were out of the loop really for as long as we were, or at least that's how I feel. So immediately, when hearing that she was going to be transferred, we went directly to the NICU. And it was so scary walking in to this big room just filled with really sick babies. Most of them, almost all of them, probably everyone except Alice, were premature. You know, tiny babies hooked up to a million machines. When we found her, it was hard even just walking in the room to know where she was. At this point, she didn't even have a name, because we really just didn't feel like we knew her well enough. There were a few names that we were trying to decide between, and once we got a sense for who she was, you know, that was going to be something that came out, but we just didn't have any of those opportunities. So walking in, we were looking for this baby that we barely knew, and she was in an incubator, or a isolette they call it, like the plastic, hard plastic, like bubble. And she had an IV. It was just really scary. We felt really powerless. So basically, when she was admitted to the NICU, they did a bunch of lab work. And over the next couple of days, those labs came back, and it was shown that she had some type of infection. Unknown what type or what the cause could be. Just for a tiny bit of background, I was positive for group B strep, and I received the antibiotics during my labor. Because there was such a long time between when my water broke and when she was actually born, It was roughly a 12-hour time span. I had to receive, I think, 3 doses of the antibiotics, which should have covered that infection from being transmitted to her, but I guess it doesn't always work that way. So that was a possibility. She could have swallowed meconium, because she did have meconium behind her when she came out. And the other possibility was that she could have gotten an infection from my placenta. I guess that's something that just happens. And it's sort of unpreventable. But at that point, they didn't know what was causing it, but again, she was just having a low temperature, and so that suggested also, like, sort of the worst case scenario is that she had possible meningitis, which can be very, very serious. You know, it can cause brain damage, and it can definitely cause death. So the course of treatment at that point was for her to receive 7 days of 2 types of antibiotics, and that's what was started immediately. So we knew that she was going to be there for at least a week.